all you wonderful people, and welcome to the F1 Debrief podcast. We had quite a race in Monza. There was some interesting things that happened, and some, I feel like, boring things during the race. Some kind of stagnant racing. But nevertheless, there's always some good, juicy moments during the race. So, Jared, what is your take on the race? If you even remember the race, this was days ago.
I thought it was fairly boring, but really controversial, which is kind of odd to think of a boring race being controversial.
That's true. How
I guess that's true. Yeah.
how would you say it was controversial? Let's go into it.
Well, I believe the biggest thing is probably just finishing under the safety car. I know that was a big talking point last season in the finish with Abu Dhabi,
Oh yeah,
and comes full circle. So
it totally did. I think it was surprising because even Lewis Hamilton at the end was talking about how I think he even mentioned surprisingly how the race shouldn't have finished under the safety car.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
then
I think everyone agrees that it shouldn't have safety deposit. It was like, yeah, we had the fastest car, but it would have been nice to finish on the back and not behind the car.
But then even Toto Wolff, he was saying how last season it was like it should have been this way, but no, they're gonna change it for this season. So it's like Lewis Hamilton saying,
Yeah.
no, we need to not finish under the safety car. We need to do something to where we actually finish the race in green. But then Toto's like, you know what? Where was this treatment last season where we could have won the driver championship?
yeah, I was gonna point that out with Toto. He seemed on the side where he didn't like the finish of this race. Obviously, they didn't win,
Mm-hmm.
but he seemed somewhat okay that the rules were actually followed and it wasn't kind of wishy-washy from last year's race.
No, yeah, I mean, there's always going to be controversy. I heard saw some stuff on Twitter saying bring Michael Massey back and just all this banter and whatnot with what happened last year. But I definitely think they need to figure something out because I don't think anyone wants to finish a race under the safety car, especially with how much money you're paying for a ticket nowadays in Formula One. Just the
Yeah.
money you're
Yeah, a lot of the
spending.
fans were booing at the end.
Oh yeah, well that's a whole nother topic I think we'll get into, but um, they need to figure something out because I don't know exactly what NASCAR does, but I've heard that they never finish a race under a safety. I don't know if it was a commentator, but someone mentioned how if there's a safety car, which again I don't know how all this would pan out, but they take those laps and the race like kind of freezes, and then you keep going and you add those laps onto the remainder. But then there's this whole other thing with the fuel and I don't know. But do you guys have any ideas on
Yeah.
like how this could be
Well, I
fixed?
mean,
I like
car
the idea with
does
kind of
refuel and
extending it like
everything.
Whoa,
soccer.
whoa, whoa, whoa! One person at a time
Oh,
here.
uh-oh.
One person at a
Go,
time.
go, go, go.
Jared,
Okay.
go ahead.
Oh, that's fine. I think I've been talking a little more.
Someone go. Someone make a move.
All right. Well, the thing is, NASCAR you more able, especially when you're in pit and everything. So that's different. But like they just red flag at the end, maybe like 1 2 laps
Oh,
because they had like 6 left or something. So
yeah.
could have gone. It's waited for cleared and gone freshly exciting with the race because it'd be a like 6 shootout base or whatever it was.
True. I
I
forgot
don't
about the
remember.
whole red flag scenario.
Yeah.
What about you, Jared? What do you think?
Uh, I think my biggest issue is if you do that kind of NASCAR style or I guess soccer inspired where you just tack on more laps, time in that aspect of
Yeah.
soccer. The weight comes an issue, and that's become a big talking point with cars increasing weight. Like 10 years ago, like you could see them moving around the paddock like all light as a feather.
Yeah,
Now they need to be put on rollers, and they need multiple people moving them.
for sure.
Um, I don't know. I mean, I could see both sides where there's more tech, and who knows, this might be a better product for everyone. You don't have to have the controversial finishes under the safety car.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, who knows? It would be a huge workaround for teams to just say, "Hey, now we're going to allow you to get more fuel," and that also takes into account different racing strategies now. Like now, teams can maybe run it more.
True. It brings on a whole nother aspect of racing for sure. But let's be real. Actually, now thinking about it, I feel like there should have been a red flag because do you guys see? I don't know what turn it was that Daniel stopped, but it was on a straight, and then they had the freaking cherry picker come pick out his car because it was stuck in gear, and the cherry picker is backing up with the freaking McLaren on the lift, and then the cars are just zooming right around him. Normally, I remember hearing the commentators talking about how the cherry picker will have to wait until the cars go by, but no, this guy's like, because I'm assuming he got orders to like, hurry your ass up and just get the car off the track, whatever it takes. But realistically, it should have been a red flag because there was, I forget what they're called, but the people running the race, they were people on track, and then the cherry picker. If someone somehow slips out and on going low speed and then they crash into the cherry picker, it causes a whole nother crash. So it really should have been red flagged anyways, if you think about it.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people were saying. Like what I said earlier, like it'd get more racing, but also be a little bit safer.
No, and I think okay.
When it first happened, the FAA was like, "Oh yeah, it's fine." I think it was, but I think at the end of the day, everyone more racing.
Yeah, and I was excited because I think I remember it was Max and Leclerc were ahead of George Russell. And when it happened, they didn't know what was going to happen, if it was going to be a safety car or a VSC. And like right as the safety car came out, George Russell had literally was right before the pit. So then he got onto new softs. And I was like, is he going to be on new softs and be able to get the advantage? And I think if there was a restart, we could have seen some really good racing in the last few laps. And it could have been an interesting finish.
What wasn't there like a 16 gap or something like that? A huge gap between them?
Yeah, it was. It was a pretty big gap. Yeah, I don't know, something huge, but it would have, brought all the pack together. I'm sure everyone would have been on new tires. It would have just been a pure form of racing. Would have been good. I think this leads us into talking about Daniel Ricardo. I mean, I felt so bad for the guy.
He was the points.
I know.
Right?
I think first points
DNF in 7th place or something like that.
It was 7th or 8th, yeah. I felt so bad for him. It's been literally months of him just doing terrible, especially with the whole Oscar Piastri thing. Which, real quick, that's another thing. Apparently, there was a Instagram page that posted this timeline, and apparently on July 4th, Oscar signed his contract. This was the day after the British GP, Silverstone, when Daniel finished in 19th or something terrible. And then a week and a half later, Daniel went on Instagram saying, "I'm committed to McLaren until, the following season." So I just feel bad for Daniel because he has been dealt this shitty situation where he just, maybe he did know and was just trying to come off he's in it for the long run. But I just feel like he was, dealt this bad situation, and I don't know. I feel for the guy, but at the same time, if you look at it at just a racing standpoint and nothing else, he's doing really bad. And I think if it was any other driver, literally almost, well, not any other driver, but just an average normal driver on the grid, it'd be a different situation where people wouldn't feel as bad.
I mean, you can't really say he's an average driver. He's an 8 Grand Prix in Formula 1.
Well, no, yeah, so not bad driver.
Driver.
But if you look at it over the last 2 seasons, Because
last 2 seasons,
what?
he didn't average it at best.
What'd you say? Sorry, cut out.
It's cutting in
Just
and
in,
out for
just
me
in the
too.
last 2 seasons, yeah, I agree. It's been like
Yeah,
2 seasons. It's been that pretty at best.
because if you're another team and you're looking at Daniel signing on Daniel, now you've got to think, what if our car doesn't suit him? Will he be able to get the grips with it and like be able to deal with it, or is it gonna be a whole nother McLaren situation? I don't know.
Remember that McLaren is very weird. Like you can go back to Carlos Daniel, like Carlos Science. So it's a very unique. Even it just Daniel's not a very, I don't want to say technical, but like he doesn't like, yeah, just if he does that front group that he doesn't really show what he can.
Jared, is he cutting in and out for you a little bit?
A lot, yeah, for me.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's not good.
we'll see. It may be.
That's no.
I don't know. We're gonna just keep on trucking along. I don't know. But
Guys.
anyways,
No one's Wi-Fi is working today.
I
No
know.
one's Wi-Fi is working today.
But we're getting it out. We're getting it done, which is a good thing. But I think I feel bad for Daniel. He was getting points. It was Monza. It was just the curse continues. That's
About
all
to
I
say
gotta
that.
say. Go ahead, Jared. Talk about it.
Oh, I was
Tell
gonna
the
say that. I was gonna say
people.
the curse.
Tell the people.
Curse. It's real.
You gotta explain it. I
What
don't
is?
know if people know it.
I was
Oh, it
trying to
was
see if I can
The
Leclerc.
Monza
No,
curse.
was it Leclerc won in this? So I remember like Leclerc won the next season he DNF'd. Gasly had won next season DNF'd, and now the most recent one is now Ricardo
Yep.
winning, and now having the DNF.
So this all started in 2019 when Leclerc won, and like Jared said, they all DNF'd. So next year, we know where Max is finishing. That's all I'm saying. He's DNFing. He ain't gonna finish. He's out for the count.
I don't know. Max might break the curse next year.
Nope. It's a curse. It's a curse. Leclerc's a good driver. Gas is a decent driver. Daniel, he's fallen off. Max, he's fallen off. He's not winning Monza. No, I'm just kidding. No, he probably will win it, but we'll see. I just feel bad for him. What?
No.
Where would you like to see him end up? I know there's a lot of things. Right? I mean, where will he end up? There's so many different options. I mean, he can go. Well, not. I mean, there's so many different sides.
Where would you like to see him? It's more of where can he still go?
I think his only option is Haas.
I think so.
Yeah, that is his only option because, and as like an outside option, it may be like Alpine right now because they're still on the fence with Gasly and everything. But
yeah,
you don't think he'd re-sign with AlphaTauri or like a Red Bull division?
I don't think so because I think if he wants to improve as a driver, he's got to get out of this whole Red Bull family thing because he's already
out of it.
But I'm talking about like even being an AlphaTauri, he's like still part of it. If he wants to win a freaking race, I think he's got to get out of that because they're not going to allow him back into Red Bull. And like we've said, that he's already got ties to going to Alpine. And I think Red Bull or Helmut Marko said and Jared, you mentioned this before the podcast, if Colton Herta could get a super license, he'd be racing in AlphaTauri.
I don't think it's very much. I started looking more into that, and I don't think it's possible for him. Not this season, at least.
Yeah, it's very unlikely. Like he's gonna have to.
He's got 30 races.
He's
got 30 super points, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Now I actually have no clue how this works. Can someone explain to me how these
so
license
basically
points
you need 40 like points, and like the FIA kind of have this chart that rank each different like kind
Racing
of racing
category?
league. Each different racing league has more weight than others.
Gotcha.
There's two that really stick out that I did some research on. So the Formula Regional Racing, or sorry, Formula Regional Asia, that could be one, and also the Toyota Racing Series in oh gosh, I forget where it is. NZ, maybe New Zealand. I'm not sure. But both of them are going to be during the off season and will finish during the start of the F1 season. But it does leave them it leaves them little time to prepare for like the next season. It could be a little bit of a stretch. So
Interesting.
not look very optimistic. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of like different things where he had like a third place finish in overall in one of his, I think it was 2018 in that racing thing, but the problem with that is it didn't have enough racing entries to be considered for points.
Oh, that's
Gotcha.
true. Yeah.
There's just a lot of fortunate things.
Yeah.
It'd be
Interesting.
cool.
So you don't think it's possible for him to get his license and race?
I mean,
in
not
F1?
this season.
Gotcha.
And
It's
so the FIA
very
would have to make an
unlikely.
exception.
So then, if Gasly doesn't move, but that's the thing, he's already got a contract for next season, correct?
Hmm.
So if he wants
I
to,
believe
or-
so.
No, I have to renew.
no, I think
Oh.
it's Yuki that needs to renew.
Yeah,
okay,
but
okay.
Yuki probably will renew.
But I think there's also, it's kind of like the same clause with Daniel's thing. If he wants to leave, he can, he can leave. So I think
I
that's.
just don't see where he would go. I mean, there's no other like big team that he would move up to.
So I was listening to another podcast, and Alpine had said that they are currently in talks with 14 potential drivers for next season.
14.
A while ago, though.
14. But still,
Wow.
That's when
this is a while ago.
The Piastri thing first came up. Yeah.
But I don't even know 14 drivers out of the F1 grid. You know,
I mean, not all of them are F1. You also have to think of
That's
their
true.
youth drivers and then all their other drivers that
yeah.
race in other things.
But so I mean, yeah, who knows where they're at now? I'm nosy, so I really want to know where everyone's gonna go.
Yeah.
But I think Daniel's only option would be Haas. I've also heard the potential rumor of him being the reserve driver for Mercedes.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
kind of like that option.
I think that's his. Yeah, I mean, then again, I don't know how hard he's trying to stay in F1 because he also mentioned that if it's time for a break and he feels like it, then that'd be the move he makes. He's hate to say this, but he's getting older, so it's not going to get easier for him to leave a car and then come back in and like be in his prime. I think it's unrealistic and it's not going to happen. But maybe he'll get lucky.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, the thing with the Mercedes drive as the third driver is that he's banking on Hamilton's retirement. But the thing is, I think Hamilton will want to retire, especially since Mercedes has made such big improvement this year alone. I don't think he's gonna want to retire now, if that makes sense.
His contract is up in 2024.
Exactly, and that's when, in theory, Daniel would want to move in spot. But the thing is, if Hamilton wants to renew for like maybe let's say like 1 or 2 years, then Daniel's stuck there, and then he's just riding on hope that Hamilton's gonna retire to get into a seat.
Yeah. I have a question for you guys. Actually, not even a question, more of an opinion, but if Hamilton continues to be like decent and pretty good in the Mercedes car, I could see him kind of being like Fernando Alonso and racing for a long time.
I wouldn't say that long, but I can definitely see him driving.
I don't know about that long, but I just feel like in the last few races, he's shown a lot of passion for that. And I don't
Well, yeah, because he sees the improvement of
for sure.
the cars. It's like, oh, we have the chance. Maybe not this year, but next
Yeah.
year we definitely have a fighting
And I
chance.
know he's got so many interests outside of F1, and not to bring this up, but he's got like no wife or girlfriend, you know, like not like
Oh,
he's had a few, but like you know, whereas like Sebastian Vettel, he's got a wife and a kid, you know, he's got a few kids, you know, it's like and he's talked about wanting that, but he just doesn't have that right now. So
Right.
I feel like obviously that's like the number one reason why I think drivers will retire is to spend time with their family and whatnot, and he just doesn't have that right now. You know, I'm not saying
yeah.
it to be mean or against him, but I feel like if he's like, because I think if he were to quit racing early, I feel like he'd probably be missing like a big part. Like I feel like he'd feel like he'd be missing something. But who knows? We'll see how it pans out. I don't know. Just an opinion based. We'll see what happens though. Kevin, what was your take on the race?
Honestly.
If you
But
can
it was,
remember.
now.
I thought I know. It was definitely interesting. Like Nick DeVries. Can we just talk about that for a little bit? Nick DeVries
Yes, I've
finished in the
been
points.
waiting for this.
Like as much as I like Nicholas Latifi, he's a great guy, great personality. But the thing is,
Oh, you mean Go Tiffy?
it
You need to only
sure,
address it
but
with Go Tiffy.
Oh gosh.
this race really stirred up the pot about the Nicholas Latifi talk and whether he stay or not. After having Nick DeVries come in, did he come in an FP3?
So he came, yeah. So he did an Aston
He came
Martin
in
FP2
FP3. Oh, that's
on
right,
on
FP2.
Friday, and then on
And
Saturday.
then jumped into the Williams.
Yep. Got a call last minute.
So
I mean,
that was
cannot.
yeah. That's
Yeah. I mean,
that just
I'm happy
doesn't.
for the guy.
I mean, finishing in the point, finished eighth, I believe. Oh, ninth.
Yeah, he
Finished ninth with 2 points. That's more points than Latifi had this whole year,
I know.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nicholas Latifi is finishing
Yeah, 0 right now.
21st in a 20
At-
man race.
Yep.
Technically.
Well, right now there's 22 drivers, but yeah.
But, you know, in a 20 driver sport, he's finishing. It's kind of funny. I know.
Like after this race, it's just the writing on the wall. It's for Nicholas because.
And that's the thing. Yeah. Nicholas Latifi he's driven this car for I don't even know how many years. But for Nick DeVries.
I think this is third, I think.
Okay. But for Nick DeVries to just come in here his first real F1 race and manage to get some points, even with, I know he got bumped up a little bit with the penalty points, which that's another point. But he did an outstanding job, and this is the first time two Dutch drivers have finished in the points together. So random fact of the day in there. Yeah, first time ever for two Dutch. I didn't even know he was Dutch.
Really?
Oh, I thought he was I didn't think he was Dutch. I thought he was like French or something.
Neither did I.
His name's DeVries.
Okay, I don't know Dutch. I know I spelled it so wrong in my notes, dude. Like, I spelled his entire name wrong. I spelled Nick wrong. I didn't know it was with a Y.
He is a Dutch driver.
Oh yeah, it is.
But I feel like when I hear Max Verstappen talk and Nick DeVries, I'm like, I don't see it. Then again, I don't know anything about culture, so don't come to me asking.
But what was the whole deal with the penalties?
Yeah, dude, there's so many penalties.
I actually don't know.
I know. I didn't write this.
Like, what was it?
Like,
your guy retweeted, or no, yeah, retweet something. I forget. I think I sent it to you guys.
Uh-oh.
What
Jared.
was it?
Jared.
1 sec.
Oh.
No, I'm getting it up right now. There's 9 drivers took Monza grid penalties.
Holy.
9. What the hell is up with this? All
But
right.
what were they for, though?
Okay. I've got the penalties, people. So let's read this from Sky Sports F1. Max Verstappen took a 5-place grid penalty. Let's see. Hold on. Does it say for what for? Oh yeah. So he took a 5-place grid penalty for his 5th internal combustion engine. Oh wait, no. Oh wait.
Isn't
That was a Belgian.
any
Yeah. So he got a
Yeah.
5-place grid penalty. Lewis Hamilton started at the back of grid for taking a bunch of new parts, apparently. Sergio Perez took his 4th ICE, so he received a 10-place grid penalty. Signs at the back of the grid for a new gearbox. Alfa Romeo's, I don't know why I said that. Valtteri Bottas, he took a 15-place grid penalty for a bunch of new parts. Yuki Tsunoda also at the back of the grid for taking a bunch of new parts. Esteban Ocon took 5 places for a new ICE. Who else? Kevin Magnussen and Mick Schumacher, 15th place for a bunch of new parts. So just a bunch of new parts.
Okay.
And yeah, which
everyone's
the more
doing new
parts you
okay.
add, yeah, the further back you
Yeah.
go. But I think, we've been questioning why were there so many this weekend. And I did a little bit of research, and it's like, I think F1 needs to combat I feel like there shouldn't be this many penalties. I don't understand the point of having this many penalties, and I know it's all because of the budget cap, and I don't know. I'm not technical about this stuff and don't really know how we could fix it where we could, have less penalties, because obviously, like, not in this season, but a penalty could, change the outcome of the driver standings and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I think most people in teams took penalties in Monza is because it's an easier track to pass on and gain on, and like gain the positions that you lost. And obviously we saw that with Sergio, Lewis, and Carlos specifically. Lewis finished, I think, P5 from starting 19, and Carlos finished P4 from starting P18.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you also have to take into account the next Grand Prix isn't going to be in Russia. It's going to be Singapore. That place is impossible to pass on.
For sure. So you got to pick and choose where you're taking your penalties. That's for sure. But yeah, I don't know. Do you guys think they should do something to make it that there's less penalties? Should they increase this budget cap, or like a specific part of it? I don't know.
I think it's fine, honestly. It's just this year was just such a transitional year. Why? No, thank you.
Yeah, it definitely was a big transitional year.
So yeah, especially with the engines, like Red Bull at the beginning of the year, like both their engines had with this small fuel pump problem, so both of them went out in the first race and everything. So it was just a lot of engine problems and whatnot. All the Ferrari manufacturer engines have had faults the whole season, exactly. So right now everyone's just trying to figure out the kinks and everything and work them out.
Totally. Well, my take on the race is Aston Martin needs a new 5-year plan because they are just...
They just need to extend it to 10 instead of 5.
Yeah, they need to say Aston Martin plan TBD, to be determined, because who knows when they're gonna get their shit together. But both cars just finished. They both DNF'd. I don't even know who retired. Do you guys remember who retired first?
Vettel.
Lance retired in lap 41. I think Vettel retired first though.
Yeah, he did.
Vettel retired. Oh, did he? Yeah, he retired on the side of the track though, which I think brought a VSC out, but for a very short time.
Oh yeah, I remember, because he was complaining that he was losing power, and then the boost went out, and then the engine went out, and they were basically like, yeah, just turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
And he wanted to limp back he wanted to limp back to the pits, but they were just like, no, just pull over. Like it's better off that way. So
Oh yeah, but
something went up.
in a way, you gotta wonder, which I'm trying to see. Oh yeah, you gotta wonder if this is a Mercedes problem, because also happened to Daniel Ricardo. Daniel lost the engine, and
True.
Vettel also complained. He said he lost the engine and he was losing power. So is, the Mercedes engine, becoming less reliable? It happened on the same weekend, but that's my take. They are having issues nonstop, left and right, and I don't know what they're gonna do with Fernando Alonso next year that's gonna make it any better, but we'll see.
Well, Fernando Alonso is just there to replace Vettel because
True,
he's retiring now. This is
true.
his last season. They need to put an experienced driver in there because who else would they put in there? And especially in such short notice, because at the time, I don't think the whole Piastri thing was happening yet, or it was like right in the middle of it. So I don't know. Everything right there in that few 3 week span was really confusing to try and follow.
Yeah,
So much happened at once.
there was. But yeah, so Lance Stroll, it also says here, that he basically retired because of the same issue. His engine wasn't completely broken, but they wanted to retire it to look at the issues and I think see if they can
Yeah.
fix it for the future races. Because I think if not, they're gonna look at some more grid penalties too. Um, what did you just say, Kevin? You said something, and I was gonna.
I don't know, what did I say?
I don't know. It made me think about a point to talk about.
I mean, I brought up the Oscar Piastri thing and like how the 3 week span kind of mixed everything up between the whole Alpine driver stuff and everything. That's
Oh, I
what I was
spaced,
talking about.
people. I spaced. I have no
Or
clue.
what I said about Vettel losing his turbo. I mean, you already talked about
I know. I don't.
the
I
engine
don't know. I
situation.
mean, we can go on from it. There was something where I was like, oh, we need to talk about that. But now I'm like,
No, I
no, we don't.
forgot.
Now I forgot. Now I don't know what to talk about. All right. I think now is a good time to go over our race predictions for the Oh wait, no. What was the last race? The Belgian, right?
I think
No,
we should
I don't know.
wait on that when it gets closer because we got like a 3 week
Yeah, we got
break.
3 weeks.
It's gonna be that'll be a
We
lot
can
that
wait,
changes.
yes, but no. I want to go over our Monza predictions.
Monza prediction.
I'm telling you, if we went off
The race,
qualies, I'd
the
be
race we're
winning.
talking about
Oh,
now.
yeah.
We're gonna go
I'm
over
telling you,
this
if we
race.
went off qualies the past 2 races, I'd
Oh, we're
be in the
not
lead right
going
now.
off quali. You gotta transition. Whatever you think of quali, you just gotta switch it up a little bit. Cause I'm doing pretty hot right now. I'm doing pretty good.
I've been hitting it on the head when it comes to qualies. When it comes to the race, holy dude, completely different.
Yeah. So Kevin had a rough week this week. So in podium, in his podium positions, from P1 to P3, he had Charles, Max, and Carlos. So you
Which is
got.
exactly what it was when it came to qualies.
But in the race, you got a big whopping 0 points.
Yeah.
So unfortunate for you. Jared had Max, Carlos, and George. So he got 3 points, for first and third. And then I had Max, Leclerc, and Sergio for first and second. I get 5 points. So total points after Monza, which then again, we've only done 2 races, guys. But total points, I've got 10 points. Jared has 8 points, and Kevin has 4 points. 4 points. Yeah. So, guys, also go follow the Instagram, the F1 Debrief podcast. I'll post, updates on races and the podcast. But if you do follow it, I messed up the post on the points, and I mixed up Jared's and Kevin's. But yeah, I feel like we got to think of. I'm not saying this needs to be a drastic, but like, do we want to have a consequence or something?
Oh wow.
What the?
I'm just saying, like,
You can't tell me this when I'm like 10 points behind
okay,
everyone.
not necessarily even like, I don't
A
know.
loser has to like shave their head or something.
I
Like,
think-
I'm gonna say no. I have 4 points.
I
something
think
I like my hair.
No, hear me out. Here's my idea. I think the loser needs to spend 24 hours at a diner, and for every
Oh, that's
pan-
too much.
and for every
Oh,
pan-
that's easy for me though.
and for every pancake they eat, they get a reduction of 1 hour.
Oh, that's easy.
Oh,
Have you guys seen that? A bunch of
Yeah.
fantasy teams are doing that. Okay, no,
that would be cute.
I'm not. I'm
I'd
not.
only be there for like 2 hours.
Dude, I couldn't. I don't hate pancakes, but
Oh, I can put them down like they're nothing.
I'm not a fan.
Dude,
But
no,
we'll
like
go
2
somewhere.
pancakes and I feel like just
Ooh,
a
bro.
potato sack.
No,
Dude.
I can eat so much.
All right, well, we'll do that then. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. We don't need to do anything. I don't know. Figured something to make it spicy. But
Why not?
we started late this season. We started the podcast late, so this season it's off the books. We'll cruise on by. Whoever wins will get bragging rights. And
Ooh, I can guess very good.
or
I
question.
good guesser.
And
What?
not that I'm not because I'm in the winning seat, but or we could do at least for next season. We could which this would be a bad idea. Whoever wins, we could like buy them a T-shirt of F1 or I don't know. Something
we
to
can
think
talk
about.
about it because
Something to think
it's a year
about.
away. It's a
Something
year
to
away.
think about. Anyways, yeah, we'll wait.
I'll get you a Red Bull shirt.
We'll wait. Or we could get the loser a shirt they don't like. Anyways, we'll definitely
Yeah,
wait.
maybe like a shirt of the driver they like the least.
Just something bad, something or whatever. Or buy what they like and then vandalize it. I like that idea.
That sounds like a waste of money.
It does. It's a big waste of money. F1's not cheap, man. Nothing in F1's cheap. No, we'll definitely wait to do the Singapore Grand Prix because that is 3 weeks out, and maybe we'll get more information about the drivers. Do you think we should? Because what we could do. Would you guys rather still do the predictions before qualifying and practices?
I like before qualifying.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's true, because that you don't know anything. Because I got a little bummed out because we did all of our predictions and then we just hear everyone's taking a grid penalty. I was like, oh great, but okay, I'm cool with before qualifying and practices. That way it's raw and we don't know.
Right.
But yeah, anything else?
Oh, I think that's a good point to end on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. There's a few good points to go over in the Monza race. But yeah, we're thinking about adding some more segments to the podcast, guys. If you're interested in that, so stay tuned. Again, follow the Instagram at the F1 Debrief Podcast. I'll be posting, like I said, different just Formula One events and posting the stats about our race predictions, our podium predictions, and just different stories. So go follow there. Share the podcast, much appreciated. Get the podcast on the map. That'd be awesome. We're one of the only few American F1 podcasts. So, granted, I don't really know any other ones, but much appreciated for listening. Stay tuned. We'll try to. I don't know what we'll talk about, but we've got about 2.5 weeks till. Yes, follow it. Jared's showing it, that awesome logo. But yeah, we've got 2.5 weeks till the Singapore Grand Prix where Max may clinch the title and get his second.
I think we will.
Oh yeah, I Max
It might be a close one.
You do?
No.
Oh. But
This
yeah,
thing's done.
yeah, it's over. Well, it's definitely over.
We're basically watching for second place now.
That's true.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
basically.
true. Yeah, that actually we'll have to talk about that later on. But anyways, guys, stay tuned. We'll get a podcast in there before Singapore. Thanks for listening, and we will see you guys in the next one.
Bye bye.
Bye.